We covered the crap out of the Batman and Harley Quinn animated movie in 2017 across 6 or 7 different videos, from reviews to Easter eggs, timeline placement, and much more. But we return to that film today to extrapolate on a particular moment, kind of like what we did on the recent speculation video about all those RANN-THANAGAR WAR references in Justice League vs. the Fatal Five, because that's what we do here at the Watchtower Database. We take one throwaway line and turn it into an entire video. Welcome. You remember when Batman visits Argus headquarters to learn what Sarge Steel and his team know about Poison Ivy and the Floronic Man? Sarge greets Batman with gratitude over a recent case.
Hey, thanks again for helping us out with that League of Assassins thing in Nanda Parbat. Oof, that Lady Shiva. Wouldn't say no to a slice of that pie, know what I mean?
And Batman glares back, silent and emotionless. We know he's thinking about what went down in Nanda Parbat with Lady Shiva, the League of Assassins, and Argus, but we don't know what he knows, since we never saw that moment play out in the DC animated universe, or anything quite like it in any other DC related media. But we can certainly speculate based on decades of pre-existing comics and storylines featuring the aforementioned characters. Plus, with Lady Shiva and Nanda Parbat being heavily featured in Bruce Timm's recent Batman Soul of the Dragon animated movie, what better time to dive into it? We know most of you are primarily fans of the DCAU first and foremost, so to make sure everyone is up to speed, not only will we be covering the history of these concepts within the DC animated universe, but also filling in the gaps with their mainstream comics counterparts. Once I've laid it out, I'll let James take it from there to pitch what the storyline might actually look like as a DCAU animated movie. And if you want to know what flavored pie Lady Shiva actually is, we will answer that at the end.
Showtime, everybody!
Engagement.
They can talk all they like.
That means everything.
Don't forget that.
You heard it, folks!
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought I was off the hook this week. This is a TED video, right? How did you get into my bathroom with a camera and microphone without me noticing? Okay, I'm gonna be fully transparent up front here. This video was supposed to come out like a month ago or more. The movie pitch that I'm gonna present at the end morphed and warped like 6 or 7 times before all of us here on the channel finally agreed on something that's the best possible arrangement, since, well, we made it up completely. Unlike RANN-THANAGAR WAR, which had a comic arc of the same name to just directly rip from, with minor alterations. This pitch was basically like writing an issue of our Legacies of the DCAU fan webcomic, and since we know some of the Warner Brothers animation peeps peep our videos on occasion, it was like, oh my god, we have to make this good! Like, we put the question in it. He's a big part of it, because he's cool as heck. So without wasting any more of your time, or mine, here's Ted again to explain the basics of Lady Shiva, Argus, the League of Assassins, Sarge Steel, all the concepts that are going to show up in our movie pitch, to get you in the right mindset. Then I'll come back, hopefully not naked this time, and do my best to explain our super duper cool original movie idea that you will love or else. See you in a bit! Get out of my bathroom, please!
In Greek mythology, Argus was the thousand-eyed giant, which makes sense because in the mainstream DC universe, Argus, aka the Advanced Research Group Uniting Superhumans, was a surveillance agency founded by the US government after the Justice League's initial defeat of Darkseid, as depicted in Jeff Johns and Jim Lee's Justice League Origins story arc, which launched in the New 52. Amanda Waller recruited Steve Trevor to serve as acting director of Argus. Their first and only headlining series was Forever Evil Argus, which followed Trevor's attempts to stem the chaos caused by the crime syndicate's emergence. With locations across the country in Washington, D.C., Gotham City, and Detroit, Argus appeared all over the place, from the 2013 Steve Trevor-focused series Team 7, which planted the seeds for the group's formation, to a leading role in Jeff Johns' Justice League of America run, and Justice League of America's Vibe, which greatly expanded Argus' staff and history. Argus appeared in various Rebirth-era books, most notably in The Flash and Wonder Woman, but by that time, the agency was suddenly spearheaded by Sacha Baron Cohen, traditionally an agent of Checkmate. Although Argus shared many similarities between Checkmate as well as the Department of Extra-Normal Operations, aka the DEO, the entire intelligence community of the DCU permanently fell during the systemic attack orchestrated by the Leviathan Terror Group. Argus was also briefly mentioned in Beware the Batman's Hunted episode, and had a major role in Arrow Season 3, with continued appearances in other CW superhero shows. In that universe, Argus was formed in a large part to deal with the League of Assassins. While it is possible that the Argus of the DC animated universe was formed in response to Darkseid's invasion, like in the New 52 comics, our timelining efforts have placed the events of Batman and Harley Quinn as occurring after Justice League Unlimited's Cadmus arc, but before the final Legion of Doom season. So So Argus should theoretically exist before Darkseid's return to Earth and Destroyer, which would mean they could have been formed after either of Darkseid's initial major invasions of Earth in Superman the Animated Series episodes Apocalypse Now Part 2 or Legacy Part 1. Maybe Argus operated just off screen in the DCAU until Batman and Harley Quinn, before they later reappeared in Justice League vs. the Fatal Five, guarding the Time Sphere. And now, the fearless leader of the DCAU's Argus, Sarge Steel himself, was voiced by John DiMaggio in his one and only animated appearance as of this video. Sarge Steel was originally an 8-issue series from Charlton Comics that ran from 1964 to 66, before it was retitled Secret Agent. Steel was a US veteran who served in the Vietnam War. Although he rose to the rank of captain, he kept the nickname Sarge. Great, now we have Steel, Commander Steel, and Sarge Steel. His model sheet probably just says Steel like all those other characters. These are the things that give us perpetual headaches. During his adventures with Special Forces, Steel fought the terrorist Ivan Chong, who caused Steel to lose his left hand in combat. Steel was eventually given an artificial mechanical steel hand fitting to his name. After an honorable discharge, he became a private investigator, whose cases often involved government agencies such as the Central Bureau of Intelligence that surveyed metahuman activities. The Charlton Comics characters were ultimately integrated into the DC universe after Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Steel made appearances whenever a government presence was necessary, like 1989's Suicide Squad, 1990's Checkmate, 1992's Hacker Files, and the second volume of Danger Trail in 1993, which traditionally featured Agent King Faraday. Steele's work caused him to form a harsh opinion on superheroes and vigilantes who wouldn't work with the US government, though he didn't really like Amanda Waller or the Suicide Squad either. He most notably served as the leader of the DEO during the third volume of Wonder Woman from 2006 to 2009, and employed Diana Prince as an agent alongside Nemesis. Now, the League of Assassins will surely create some confusion with their name, so allow me to clarify. In the comics, the League of Assassins is led by Ra's-al-Ghul, but he helms the Society of Shadows in the DC animated universe. During the Batman Beyond show, we meet Karare, who belongs to the Society of Assassins. Neither the Society of Shadows nor Society of Assassins are exactly the League of Assassins, a third group who did appear in Gotham Adventures number 6 alongside the Hook during his assassination of trapeze artist Boston Brand. The League of Assassins appeared again in issue number 9, led by the Sensei, who was revealed in Paul Dini and Grant Morrison's resurrection of Ra's-al-Ghul's story arc from the main comics continuity to be the father of Ra's-al-Ghul, but that does not seem to be the case in the DCAU. Of course, the Sensei is a different character than O-Sensei, the latter of whom was featured as master and teacher to Lady Shiva, Richard Dragon, Bronze Tiger, Bruce Wayne, and others in the Batman Soul of the Dragon film. But let's not forget, there have been plenty of other assassins operating in the DC animated universe, such as Batman the Animated Series villains like Coyote Ken, who trained as a ninja alongside a young Bruce Wayne in Japan, as well as the Paul Dini original Kitsune, a foxy femme fatale from Batman and Robin Adventures Annual No. 1, and the Batgirl Adventures Special. Black Mask's False Face Society in Batman Adventures Volume 2 included assassins like Bronze Tiger, Black Spider, Sportsmaster, and animated returns for Firefly, Phantasm, and Deadshot, though he would be with Task Force X if the timeline placement holds. Original villain Sakuri was introduced in Justice League as an evil stand-in for the traditionally heroic Katana, and returned for Justice League Unlimited in the expanded Secret Society, which also included the assassins Merlin, KG Beast, Devil Ray, and Bloodsport, with the second version making an appearance in Justice League vs. the Fatal Five. Batman The Adventures Continue miniseries by Dini and Burnett introduced Slade Wilson aka Deathstroke to the DCAU. Of course, with the recent DCAU outings having added new characters, it's entirely possible that characters we haven't seen in the DCAU before could be involved. Beware that Batman focused on the League of Assassins where Lady Shiva served as its commander, alongside newcomers to animation like the Silver Monkey and the Cypher, who battled their former member Katana, now working alongside Batman to stop the League. The DC animated movie universe featured Onyx as bodyguard for Heretic in Batman Bad Blood. Cheshire was in the Teen Titans animated series, and known as Jade in Batman Soul of the Dragon. Young Justice included Sportsmaster and his wife Tigress, among the others I've mentioned already. Agents of the League of Assassins who have yet to be animated in the DCAU or any instances include David Kane, the Silencer, and the Expediter, who served a similar informative function in the comics continuity as Oracle did for Batman, or the Calculator for the Secret Society. Characters like the Riddler or Clock King could operate that role in the DCAU version. So which of these hitmen and women might have played a role in the League of Assassins during Sarge Steel's Untold tale? Well, that's for James to share in his story pitch, and the rest of us to find out, but only after I tell you about Nanda Parbat, Lady Shiva, and our Patreon supporters.
Turkish Airlines is pleased to announce a new destination, Gotham City.
New Batman The Adventures Continue issues? Are you kidding me? Oh, god damn it, you're still here? Well, before all these bubbles pop, I might as well tell you about all the new Patreon supporters we have, because it's actually been a while since we've done a video with the Patreon party, and I'm sorry. So since there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new names, 3 people that upped their pledges, and the 7 people that we have to say every time, I'm just gonna say them all in a row, and then future me will put graphics on the screen that will clue you into what the hell any of them mean. Okay, we got Butter Chicken, Mealbee, Ethan Hinkston, Kenyon, Tyler Galasso, Brad G, Angus Livingston, Danny Schuttenberg, Jesus Milan, which I am going to say again because they upped their pledge. Jesus Milan, Alex Irizarry, Edward Hammond, Kenyon, Robert Sterling, Aaron Young, Cameo Shadowness, Luke Mears, Mac, Richard Montwell. If I said your name, or even if I didn't, because you're also a patron, but if you're not, then this doesn't apply to you, thank you! And if you're not a patron, then thank you for watching the video anyway. No, I'm not going to do an OnlyFans, stop asking me. I know I'm real sexy. But that's all of them. If you want your name said in a video, then go over to patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower. I'm going to emphasize those letters because sometimes people don't understand what I am saying in the middle of the video. But that's not all the perks you can get. You can get art from me. You can hang out with us on a video call every month. You can vote on videos that you want to see and a bunch of other stuff. I have a child now. Help me. Give me money. So now before the video gets taken down for indecency and pornography, please accept my humble duck. Patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower. Kindly leave for real. Go back to the video now. I think that's it. I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Have a good day. Nope. Dick came out. That's not gonna work. I'm too big for this tub. Help.
There's never been a better time to visit our great city.
So book your flight now on Turkish Airlines.
Nanda Parbat is a hidden city in the mountains of the Himalayas, near Tibet, first appearing in Strange Adventures number 216 in 1969. Although secret to most of the world, those who know of Nanda Parbat recognize the city as a place of healing and enlightenment. The monks who live there worship Ramakrishna, the goddess famous for turning Boston Brand into her personal agent known as Deadman, who travels the world and possesses the bodies of living people in order to do good in the hope of balancing his karma, so he may ascend into the afterlife. In the mainstream comics continuity, Deadman defended Nanda Parbat against figures like the aforementioned Sensei. Nanda Parbat appeared in the DCAU in the final season of Justice League Unlimited during the episode Dead Reckoning, which, as I mentioned before, theoretically takes place after Batman and Harley Quinn. This would mean that the events referenced by Sarge Steel would have played out sometime before the JLU episode. Deadman seeks the help of the superheroes to avenge the death of the monks and their martial arts master, seemingly killed by Devil Ray and the Secret Society of Supervillains, sent by Grodd to retrieve the mystical heart of Nanda Parbat. Batman reveals to the other Leaguers that he studied under the Master in the monastery in Nanda Parbat, and helped Deadman solve his own murder in Gotham Adventures number 6. Ultimately, the Ghost takes possession of Batman's body and uses a gun to kill Devil Ray in revenge, only to learn that shattering the heart would have returned the monks to life. Deadman's act of murder meant that the scales of karma were still unbalanced. He would remain on Earth as Ramakrishna's agent for some time longer. Although Nanda Parbat mainly appeared in Deadman stories throughout the 70s and 80s, the location eventually grew to hold more importance in the DC universe, like the histories of characters such as Lee Travis, a World War I combatant who was inspired to become the Crimson Avenger after stumbling across Nanda Parbat and learning of the arrival of Doomsday and impending death of Superman, decades before the Man of Steel was even born. Judo Master was a martial arts hero from the 1940s, first appearing in Charlton Comics in 1965 before his own series the following year. He appeared in Batman Soul of the Dragon, though out of costume as Rip Jagger. He was a sergeant in World War II and learned the art of judo on an island in the Pacific. He later lived in Nanda Parbat for a while, which allowed him to retain his youth into the modern era, since time moves differently in Nanda Parbat as less time passes in the outside world. He only left at the command of Ramakrishna to fight a war alongside heroes like Captain Atom, Blue Beetle, Peacemaker, Nightshade, and The Question, who is one of many DC characters that have visited Nanda Parbat over the years. In the 52 series, The Question takes her name Montoya to Nanda Parbat to be trained by Richard Dragon, but just outside the city, Sage dies from lung disease. Montoya takes on his identity as The Question and later returns to Nanda Parbat in Brightest Day to give Sage a proper burial. The hidden city is eventually destroyed by the goddess Hecate in 2018's Justice League Dark: The Witching Hour. Now for Lady Shiva herself, we've discussed her brief DCAU history in the Hidden Villains video, but here's her comic history. Sandra Woo-san was born in a poor village where residents were trained to become agents for A.R.G.U.S. She and her sister Carolyn were talented fighters and escaped to Detroit, but Carolyn was ultimately murdered by a mysterious agent of the League of Assassins. Sandra picked her training back up with O-sensei and took on the identity of Lady Shiva, named for the Hindu god of destruction who destroys the universe in order to recreate it. Now a mercenary who can minimize emotional attachments with meditation. Shiva first appeared in Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter No. 5 in 1975. Shiva held a recurring role in the series as Dragon's ally, along with his friend Ben Turner, aka Bronze Tiger. Lady Shiva eventually discovered that assassin David Kane was her sister's true murderer. She tracked him down, but fell into a trap set by the League of Assassins. They agreed to spare her if Shiva would bear David Kane's child, and create the offspring of two of the most talented assassins on Earth, who would be trained to be better than both of them. Shiva agreed, and after birthing their daughter Cassandra, she never saw David Kane again. Carolyn's death went unavenged, and Shiva embraced her reputation as a ruthless killer, traveling the world in search of a good fight. Shiva moved to Hub City during Denny O'Neil's run on the Questions series from 1986 to 1990. She was dispatched to take out the city's newest vigilante, The Question, and beat him pretty quickly, but saw potential in the challenger. She retrieved his body when it was thrown in the harbor, healed him, and brought him to Richard Dragon for proper training. Shiva hoped that The Question might become the type of opponent that she was looking for. They returned to Hub City and worked together occasionally with Shiva in a mentorship role. The two characters had an emotional departure in number 36, the final issue of the series. Shiva turned her attention to Gotham and the Bat family. Jason Todd found her during the events of Batman number 427, falsely believing her to be his long-lost mother. Shiva beat Batman in unarmed combat before, and may have defeated them both if Todd had not intervened in what would be the last Batman-Robin team-up before the disastrous events of Death in the Family. After Tim Drake became the new Robin, he encountered Shiva in issues number 1 to 5 of his first solo series in 1991. She taught Tim the art of the bow staff and trained him to her liking before they teamed up to defeat Shiva's mercenary rival King Snake. After Bruce Wayne was crippled at the hands of Bane and John Paul Valley's Batman grew increasingly more unstable, all in the Nightsend arc set between chapters of Nightfall, Bruce turned to Shiva to help rebuild him as a better fighter than before. Several years later, a new Batgirl hit the streets of Gotham with hand-to-hand combat skills that drew Lady Shiva's attention. But when she arrived, she found that Batgirl's skills had been wiped away by a telepath. So like she did with Bruce Wayne, Shiva retrained Batgirl to be a better fighter than she was before, in exchange for a fight between them exactly 1 year later. When the fight finally occurred, Shiva killed Batgirl, but unsatisfied, she resurrected Batgirl to continue the fight, which Batgirl won, though she refused to kill her teacher in retaliation. Batgirl, actually Cassandra Cain, learned the truth that Lady Shiva was her mother, which she had suspected for a while. After Flashpoint, now in the New 52 era, Lady Shiva continued to fight characters like Batman, Nightwing, Red Hood, Deathstroke, and the Secret Six. Although she served Ra's-al-Ghul in his League of Shadows, Shiva was secretly the leader of the League of Assassins, which was built to oppose Ra's-al-Ghul's operations. She nearly ended the League of Shadows, all the while growing closer with her daughter Cassandra, although Ra's shot Shiva in the back and took her dead body. Shiva would be revived and worked alongside Ra's-al-Ghul once again during the events of the Batman and the Outsiders series from 2019, though left uncertain whether Shiva was playing a long con, intending to usurp Ra's once again. Lady Shiva had multiple appearances throughout Beware the Batman. She appeared in Young Justice as a chief enforcer for the Light, and the DC animated movie universe in Batman Hush, and a major action sequence in the grand finale Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, as well as video games like Batman Arkham Origins and Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes. And those are the facts. Every single one of them. I've laid out all the pieces of the puzzle, so let's see how James wants to put them all together to best fit the continuity and tone of the DC animated universe, as the events referenced by Sarge Steel and Batman and Harley Quinn. Take it away, James. Unless a quick ad break plays first. Yep, there it goes.
It's a bomb!
The eyes of justice are watching. It's Batman!
Riddle me this! Where would a villain like me hide a bomb?
Alright, I'm here, I'm clothed, and I'm ready to take you on a cinematic journey. Or something like that. Just be warned that since a lot of the characters and locations and etc. from this have never or rarely appeared in the DC animated universe, I'm gonna be using a lot of clips from well, non-DCAU stuff. So just use your imagination and Bruce Timify everything mentally. And just to get you in the right headspace, this fake movie would be taking place basically right before Batman and Harley Quinn, which we've pinned down as taking place between the final 2 seasons of Justice League Unlimited, aka right after the big Cadmus arc. So all of the Legion of Doom, Darkseid stuff, that hasn't happened yet. Just keep that in mind. We're in a post-Luthoriac, pre-Metro Tower world. Okay, we start out in Gotham City. A dark-haired teenage girl pickpockets pedestrians down a sidewalk. She runs into the Question and tries to take him in a quick scuffle, but he grabs her arm, revealing a tattoo he recognizes, the emblem of the League of Assassins. Are you with them? But she doesn't know what he's talking about. Then, ninjas. Ninjas everywhere. The girl comes with us. Eorum voluntatem nostra est. Question fights them off, better at hand-to-hand combat than we've seen before, and certainly better than me, as the girl escapes. Question's beaten, but a crossbow arrow pins one of the ninjas as we pan up to see Huntress above. You were supposed to pick me up at 7. It's 7:05. I got worried. She, Green Arrow, and Black Canary leap down and take out the rest of the ninjas, but Question barely thanks them and races off. Canary, showing off an engagement ring, asks Huntress when she's gonna pop the Question, but Huntress laments that he's afraid of commitment. There's something he just can't get past. Arrow retorts, he's afraid of a lot of things. Has he ever told you about those shoelace tips? On the Watchtower, the Justice League meets at their round table with Amanda Waller, who introduces them to Sarge Steel, sporting 2 normal hands, and briefs them on Argus, a new, friendlier security agency set up by Joe McPresident in place of Cadmus. Sarge Steel steps away for a moment as he's hailed by Argus HQ that their operative in Tibet hasn't checked in for hours. Sarge cuts the meeting short. In the hall, Question confronts Batman. In Greek mythology, Cadmus was a slayer of monsters. Argus was a giant with 100 all-seeing eyes. Batman asks which is worse. Guess it depends whether or not gods and myths scare you. Question informs Batman about what went down earlier. Batman's eyes widen at the mention of the ninja's Latin phrase, which Question says he first heard uttered by an old friend who sported the same arm tattoo, and who had taken him to train at the mystical Nanda Parbat. She was a goddess of destruction in flesh and blood. Her name was Shiva. Batman, having also trained there and previously encountered the League of Assassins, leaves for Nanda Parbat, instructing Question to search Gotham for the young girl. Batman informs Alfred of his plans, which are overheard by Tim Drake, Robin, who insists on tagging along, but Batman refuses. It's too dangerous. Tim protests, saying Batgirl's helped Batman fight the League of Assassins before. Is she in the Justice League? When is he gonna be experienced enough that Bruce trusts him? Batman logs off, Tim angrily storms into the Batcave. Alfred follows soon after with hors d'oeuvres to discover Tim is missing. He slumps into the Bat computer chair to eat the snacks alone. I'm going to get fat from every time this happens. As Batman flies to Nanda Parbat, the Batwing is shot out of the sky by gunfire, and he winds up having a Public Enemies-style fight against a bunch of colorful assassin supervillains, Bronze Tiger, KG Beast, and Firefly. Argus helicopters arrive to back him up, and Sarge Steel explains their Tibet investigations revealed a dark spot on their map. This must be where Nanda Parbat exists. Sarge says he's sorry about the Batwing. Batman replies, I've got spares. He offers Batman the pilot's seat to commandeer a Batcopter, which is met with a classic Batman glare. I knew we'd be fast friends. At the gate of Nanda Parbat, Batman utters the same Latin phrase, Eorum voluntatem nostra est, and the gate opens. But of course, they're greeted with more ninjas. They fight their way to a central structure where Lady Shiva sits upon a throne. Batman asks her what the League of Assassins wants in Gotham City. She ignores this and challenges Batman to a fight, which he wins far too easily. Batman recognizes this is an imposter. Where is Lady Shiva? Back in Gotham, the pickpocket girl climbs into her rundown hotel room, emptying her backpack of stolen items. Quite the treasure, says a voice. She turns to see the real Lady Shiva, who shares the old parable about teaching a man to fish and feeding him for a lifetime. Then learns the girl's name. Cassie. Cassie has no memories before an orphanage in Hub City. Ah yes, Hub City is lovely, Shiva replies, introducing herself as one of the most feared assassins alive. She believes the girl to be her long-lost daughter, but if she's her mother, why did she wait so long to reach out? And she reveals the same arm tattoo. I want to teach you how to fish, Cassie. Flashback. 1 month ago, Lady Shiva emerges from a snowstorm at Nanda Parbat, led by ninjas to a combat arena. A man in a full face mask is engaged in an amicable sword fight with assassin Sakuri, who he promptly defeats and then greets Shiva. How dare you show your face again after all these years? Shiva wants back into the League of Assassins, but the man says she broke her end of an old bargain. She argues she carried out her terms. It's not her fault that he lost his prize. Shiva and the man break bread by sharing a mystical tea, which puts Shiva under hypnotic control, and the man commands her and his ninjas to find the girl. At the hotel, Cassie explains remembering a man with the same tattoo who took her in as a child, but who disappeared when she was very young. She recalls Question being shocked by the mark and asks what it means. But Shiva doesn't want to talk about it or the man from Cassie's childhood. She does ask about the Question. Does he look well? I mean, he had no face. Shiva apologizes for the ninja's abruptness. They were there to take her to Nanda Parbat. Cassie is startled, but Shiva calms her down. She's safe with her. At the Gotham City Police Department, Question speaks with Renee Montoya. Opening the blinds, they find Batwoman hovering just outside, who shares she's been sent by Batman as backup, and sports a hair-revealing, more comic-accurate new costume. Yeah, Batwoman's in this too. Big whoop, wanna fight about it? This is Sonia Alcana, who previously filled in for Montoya in her movie. Montoya mentions strange activity in the GCPD computers. Security files have been disappearing. Question gets in and reveals hidden code, each log ending in a question mark. A riddle appears on screen. I am always near, but never far. I am always around, but never seen. I am often avoided, but I always catch up. What am I? Question responds, death. And the code rearranges into the League of Assassins insignia. It's safe to assume Riddler is involved, but first they'll interrogate the arrested ninjas. Question bombards them with questions, asking if the League of Assassins have infiltrated Nanda Parbat, though Montoya and Batwoman don't understand how he came to that conclusion. Eorum voluntatem nostra est, he repeats. Their will is our own. The ninjas break. We can't speak! They'll kill us all! When suddenly a near-perfect sniper bullet pierces all of their skulls at once. Outside, the masked man from before slinks away, as the heroes head to Arkham to look for answers. Batman knows the fake Lady Shiva's fighting style. This is Sakuri. More assassins enter the room. Merlin, Black Spider, Sportsmaster. Fight time, including a bat pun from Sportsmaster because you gotta. Defeating the villains, Batman, Sarge Steel, and the Argus agents flee further into the inner sanctum of Nanda Parbat, discovering Deadman in a magical stasis field. Batman recounts Deadman's origin, which he was present for and was the last time he saw him. Deadman says the monks of Nanda Parbat have been mind-controlled. They are the ninjas they've been fighting. As they break Deadman free, the goddess Ramakrishna blasts in and swipes Deadman away. He's needed elsewhere. Inside Arkham Asylum, Question, Montoya, and Batwoman check on the Riddler. He's not in his cell. They find everyone, staff and inmates alike, under a hypnotic spell, controlled by question mark-shaped doodads on their temples. Two-Face has managed to avoid the mind control because, as he puts it, Harvey Dent always has a few personalities rattling around in his head. Montoya says the mind control feels very Mad Hatter, but he's just as out as the rest of them. Two-Face hands over one of the question mark doodads, which he'd peeled off of Dr. Joan Leland. They need to find the Riddler. Two-Face suggests the warehouse district, and when they ask why, we see Leland huddled in the hospital wing, muttering on repeat, warehouse, question, Kane. As Montoya handcuffs Two-Face, Deadman appears and jumps into the comatose body of Dr. Bartholomew, then introduces himself and gives the long story short update on Batman's situation, confirming Question's League of Assassins suspicions. Shiva trains Cassie with a bow staff atop a building in Gotham, their fight growing increasingly aggressive. Shiva lands a defining hit on Cassie's throat, killing her. But Shiva just sighs, takes out a syringe of bright green liquid, and revives Cassie. Enraged, she jumps to her feet and takes on Shiva with the bow staff again. Shiva says she should be grateful. Her Lazarus Pit cocktail came with fighting prowess enhancements. But Cassie thinks she's crazy, which is quickly confirmed as she's knocked off the roof in combat. But this time she's caught by Robin, who swings them both to safety. That lady's trying to kill me! But Robin knows just the place they can hide. Shiva glares as the kids swing into the night. As Batman and Argus exit into the snowy landscape, they're greeted by none other than Deathstroke. We're just throwing all the cool characters into this, sue us. Slade Wilson. It's been a long time, Batman. Not long enough.
Didn't you get knocked out with a fire extinguisher the last time we met? They're surrounded by ninjas. Deathstroke revealing that the League of Assassins has a new leader. Batman knows it's Lady Shiva, but Deathstroke laughs. Shiva is just a decoy. Batman doesn't want to hurt the mind-controlled monks, but Sarge Steel says they may not feel the same way, and then it's fight time again. At the Gotham Warehouse District, we catch up with those guys, including Deadman still in Dr. Bartholomew's body. Inside a lit-up green warehouse, they find Riddler slouched over a complex computer system. Next to him sits his question mark Kane, which Montoya says must be what Leland was babbling about. But they whip the chair around to find Riddler is in a coma just like the others, and Montoya snaps his cane in half. It's made of an imported alloy from Cord Industries. The Question mutters to himself, Hub City was lovely. Then of course, as is tradition, they're surrounded by ninjas. We flip back and forth between their fight here and the one in Nanda Parbat. Deathstroke and his minions overwhelm Batman and co., who are carried away to cells as Batman eyes Deathstroke taking a long swig of the hypnotic tea. Meanwhile, Question has tussled with a ninja enough that they wind up outside, and the remaining ninjas continue to fight Montoya, Batwoman, and humorously, Dr. Bartholomew's deadman body. But the warehouse doors seal shut, and the evil masked man appears on Riddler's computer screens. He knew the Bat Peeps couldn't resist the bait, and the building will soon self-destruct. Even his agent, Edward Nygma, can't help in his state. Hoping Riddler's mind may hold the key, Deadman switches to his body, snapping Bartholomew out of the trance. I can't snap. As Riddler, Deadman stops the explosion countdown barely. Outside, Question defeats the ninja and takes Montoya's squad car back into the city. He checks his watch, 9 p.m. He climbs up to a rooftop where Lady Shiva emerges from the shadows. Lower West Side, 9 p.m. sharp. Our time and place back in the Hub City days. There's momentary tension, then they embrace in a hug. Across town, Robin leads Cassie into an old secret Batcave annex. She'll be safe here. Robin recognizes the logo on her arm. He's become part of what Batman warned him about. He informs Alfred of their situation, who reminds him of what happened last time he helped a mysterious young woman on the run. Robin promises to be careful. As if on cue, Cassie lunges at Robin, demanding to know who he told about her. He assures her it's fine, but they have a quick brawl anyway, which is interrupted as Shiva has found them. Tim is no match for Shiva, but he manages to nab her bow staff and knock her down. She's impressed by him, offering to help hone his skills. But even though he's always bickering with Batman, he's loyal. So Shiva throws him to the floor with a "stay out of my way then." Imprisoned in Nanda Parbat, Batman and Sarge Steel meet Rip Jagger, one of the monks who managed to stave off the mind control tea. He was A.R.G.U.S's missing Tibet agent, a contact who's lived in this place since World War II, and who Batman knows from his training here. Rip frees them and tells them about the League of Assassins taking over the temple, led by a man named David Kane, the first name drop of the masked villain. Rip explains the situation with the tea. Everyone who drinks it is marked to follow Kane. Batman asks where Kane is now, as we cut to the madman standing upon a tall Gotham rooftop. He speaks into a comm device, "My will is my own," and watches as a skyline of ninjas descends upon the city. The energy grid shuts down. Gotham goes dark. Commissioner Gordon is ambushed in his office. The mayor awakens to a ninja battalion in his bedroom. Summer Gleason and Jack Ryder scramble as ninjas infiltrate the news studio. As Kane laughs, Question pops out of the smoke and lands a solid punch. Nygma can't go anywhere without dropping clues, even in a coma. "I've got a question for you, Kane." He grabs him. Why? Batwoman melts away an escape hole for the warehouse group. They go outside to find the Question is long gone with the police car. Batwoman's glider has also been destroyed. Deadman exits Riddler's body and flies off toward Nanda Parbat to warn Batman. Riddler's confused but recalls David Kane forcing him to create the GCPD computer glitch. Montoya understands. Not Kane. Kane, the others shrug. Dr. Leland's words. Warehouse, Kane, and Question. Batwoman has called in another glider to their location. Always have a spare. Learned that bit of wisdom from Batman. Good old Nightwing Deus Ex Machinas himself into this as well, offering Riddler a humiliating ride in his motorcycle sidecar. They all speed off to GCPD, where they can regroup, leaving Dr. Bartholomew to awkwardly hoof it home. At the Batcave annex, Shiva knocks Robin down again and asks her daughter to leave with her. Not for Nanda Parbat, but somewhere together. Cassie instead runs for the door, but the power shutdown finally reaches the Batcave, giving Robin a brief moment to attack again, though Shiva throws him for a loop. He was trained by Batman, but Shiva trained alongside Batman, Robin learns. Your father shouldn't keep secrets from you. But Robin corrects her. He's his partner. He isn't there by privilege, he earned it. Question and Kane fight on the rooftop. Why couldn't you have left her alone? She didn't want anything to do with you. Kane accuses him of jealousy. Shiva is a killer. The Grim Reaper is a social butterfly, an extrovert, if there ever was one. Question punches Kane's mask off, revealing his scarred, white-haired appearance. Telling Question he and Shiva deserve each other, Kane leaps off the rooftop and disappears. Deadman possesses Deathstroke back in Nanda Parbat, updating Batman and Argus on the situation in Gotham. The League of Assassins plan to use it as their new home base for global expansion. Through his acquisition of Riddler's memories, he knows that the T and question mark devices are connected, both laced with nanites. Deadman's possession disrupts and ends the hypnosis. And as Deathstroke composes himself, he apologizes. He wanted to rejoin the League of Assassins, but not like this. Rip Jagger says he can't go to Gotham. He may now be a master of judo, but he's yet to master his own mind with meditation. Deadman also agrees to stay behind and break all the monks and assassins out of their trances, hopping between each person. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Across Gotham, people rise against the ninjas. Jack Ryder rips off his patch and fights as the Creeper, much to Summer Gleason's surprise. Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Huntress rescue the mayor. Montoya, Batwoman, and Nightwing save Gordon at Police HQ, while Riddler helps restore the Gotham Electric grid. Alfred advises Nightwing to assist at the Batcave Annex, suspicious of Tim's radio silence. The others at GCPD follow him. Question enters the annex and says to Lady Shiva, "I told you not to beat up the kid," but she shrugs. Robin scrambles to explain the situation, but Question is obviously up to speed. In come Nightwing and the others. Shiva rolls her eyes, asking Question why he cares. This isn't your fight. She attacks, able to hold off Question and Nightwing in tandem. Worried about her mom, Cassie interjects, but winds up fighting Robin, who's just trying to help. It's all kinds of chaos. Batwoman helps Robin throw Cassie to the floor, telling her she has promise if she keeps up her training, but maybe with someone who's not a murderer. But Shiva shouts it's Cassie's birthright to lead the League of Assassins. But I don't want your legacy, not mine, your father. But Shiva's knocked down. Question admits he was once mentored by her 15 years ago, and when he'd met her on the rooftop earlier that night, she'd revealed to him that Cassie is the daughter of herself and David Kane. In a flashback to those years past, Question got into a fight with the mob, his skull fractured by a bullet and his body thrown in the river. But Shiva found him and nursed him back to health, bringing him to Nanda Parbat to better himself. Learning Hub City's gang wars had grown, he returned home with Shiva. They fought alongside each other, developing a mutual respect, but when Question eventually leaned in for a kiss, she pulled away and fled. Shiva interrupts Question's story to share her side. She had returned to her apartment that night to find David Kane, present on behalf of the League of Assassins, which Shiva had belonged to before running away to live in Detroit with her sister Carolyn. Kane says she was one of their best, and will forgive her desertion if she promises to do one thing: have their child, the product of the world's two greatest assassins. She refuses, but Kane threatens to assassinate the Question, knowing of their involvement. In order to keep him safe, she agrees to the terms. The next time Question went to meet Shiva, he instead found a note reading, "I cannot destroy you unless you permit me to. Forgive me. LS." That was the last time he ever saw her, until now. The mind control T wearing off, Shiva informs the group of Kane's plans to procure Cassie. Question forgives her, never before having fully understood her pain and sacrifice. Together, Cassie and Shiva vowed to make David Kane pay. With help from a Bruce Timm-voiced Booster Gold aboard the Watchtower, Batman, Sarge Steel, the Argus agents, and Deathstroke teleport into the streets of Gotham, right in front of the bank from the BTAS intro because why not? As ninjas surround them, they're quickly joined by the others to make their last stand. Question, Montoya, Batwoman, Nightwing, Robin, Lady Shiva, Cassie, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Huntress, and the Creeper, Jack Ryder. Robin and Nightwing both notice Deathstroke and let out a big "Slade?" then turn to each other and "You know this guy?" leaving fans with a nice throwaway line to gripe over for decades. Batman says he told Tim to stay out of this, but Tim replies, "Oh, you just wait till I tell you about my day." Batman, with the others at his back, warns the League of Assassins, "Leave my city while you still have a choice." But David Kane steps into frame and grabs Cassie, holding his sword to her throat. He's finally found his daughter, who he raised as a child and branded with his mark. She'd only managed to escape when Shiva rescued her and took her to live with her and her sister Carolyn. But when Carolyn died in a freak car accident, Cassie survived and was lost to both of her parents. Kane reveals that was no accident. Carolyn's death was his doing. Using Riddler, Kane was finally able to draw everyone out and put his plan in motion, even using Riddler's question mark motif to mock the Question, who he knew had once loved Lady Shiva, and perhaps vice versa. Robin tosses the bow staff to Cassie, allowing her to break free, but as Shiva lunges for Cassie, Kane drops a gas bomb which fills their lungs with more mind control nanites. They're now loyal to him. As a giant fight breaks out with the heroes and villains who fill the street, Shiva pins Question, saying, "I told you before, I cannot destroy you unless you permit me to." He responds, "Then consider this my permission," and takes her out. Cassie swaps out the bow staff for a fallen ninja's sword, chopping off one of Sarge Steel's hands. Batman and the other allies are taking out ninjas left and right, and soon it's down to just the main players. Shiva smiles wickedly, telling Question she never loved him, she just wanted a challenger. She was the one who shot him in the skull all those years ago, aiming to kill him and resurrect him stronger than ever. But Question proved to be nothing but a petty, paranoid little man. Just as he's beginning to break through Shiva's mind manipulation, a blade flings through her back, thrown by David Kane, no longer needing her and knowing he's gonna lose. Shiva slumps to her death in Question's arms, while Batman wallops Kane to the ground. Everyone stands in shock as Kane's maniacal laughter echoes throughout the Gotham streets. In montage, Nanda Parbat is shown restored, the monks and master freed. The Riddler slowly rocks in his cell in Arkham. "Riddle me this. A dead man lies in the middle of a field. He has a ring in his hand. How did he die? It was the ring to a grenade, and he pulled it himself." Batman hands David Kane over into Argus custody. Inside GCPD, everyone winds down. Question finally confides in Huntress about the loss of a friend and ally in Lady Shiva, having kept Huntress at arm's length because of his history. She hugs him and removes his mask, saying whatever comes their way, they'll face it together. That was corny. I don't care. They exit, leaving Question's trench coat and hat on a nearby chair. Nightwing remarks he's always trying to figure those two out. And Robin's like, "Wait, don't tell me you're in the Justice League." Nightwing smirks and leaves. "Oh, come on!" Montoya notices the Question's outfit. Batwoman walks by and says, "There are always more questions to be asked," and then shuffles off. Montoya smiles, then follows her off screen to ask her out to dinner. Over the top of seeing Cassie on the witness stand at David Kane's trial, Robin speaks to Batman. Cassie could be a strong ally. We don't need another Batgirl. Cassie sympathetically points to David Kane in the courtroom, eyeing Sarge Steel in the audience, who gives her a thumbs up with his new metal hand. As the camera pulls in on Cassie's determined face, Robin's voiceover stresses she has no family anymore. She's an orphan. Batman says they'll just have to see what the future holds. And the end. Oh, post-credits scene, because you have to have one of those, right? Lady Shiva's lifeless body is seen being lowered into a Lazarus pit. Then she awakens, furious and crazed. Al.G.U.S enters from the shadows. "The League of Assassins has lost a strong leader, but the League of Shadows could use a goddess of destruction to usher in an apocalypse." Like the near apocalypse of 09. And that's the real end. Woo! So what do you think? Like I said, we spent a long time figuring this puppy out. Do you think we did justice to the characters and story arcs involved? Originally, we had a lot more Deathstroke in this, with his Batman the Adventures Continue partner, Sonny, being a big part of it, who would actually be revealed to be Cassandra Cain, but it was too much reliance on tie-in material to flesh out the plot. What would you call this movie? Because damn if we can't figure out a title. Batman the Mark of Cain or The Daughter of Destruction come to mind, but I'm not completely sold on either of them. Back to Ted for the ending!
And now for the question that has lingered on all of your minds. What flavor pie is Lady Shiva? Bum bum bum. She's a Chinese beef meat pie. Is that correct? I was kind of hoping for cherry or maybe even key lime. Who came up with this answer? Me? Why? But now I want to know, would you watch a Lady Shiva League of Assassins original movie set in the DC animated universe? What flavor pie do you prefer for your Lady Shiva? Know what I mean? Leave us a comment below and let us know your thoughts.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope the fact this video took so long means it was actually worth the watch. Despite the back and forth forever to nail down this story, I think we would have a lot of fun doing more videos like this. Provided the story idea was built off of more than like 1 or 2 sentences next time. Remember to head over to patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower if you'd like to help support the channel. And if you don't have the ability to do that, there's always merch all the time. Merch, merch, merch. Get yourself a fine ass t-shirt, please. And remember, you can hang out with us throughout the week on our live streams, reading and breaking down DCAU comics, books, video games, whatever. Sometimes I'm drawing Batman, sometimes I'm not. You best be subscribed with the bell on, and make sure you share this video with 5 friends, or ninjas will appear at the end of your bed tonight. Okay, bye.
Hey, baby boy, shush. I'm recording myself naked in a bathtub. How am I supposed to put you through college?